Hello, hello. How are you? I feel very off skew here, so let me adjust accordingly. Hi, my name is Rachel Johnson, and I am the Director of Recruiting at Johnson's Personnel. And tonight we are going to discuss what is in a BOI report, uh, the recent changes for the federal injunction against the BOI report, and what you can do as a business owner to safeguard yourself and your business. So, what we do here on this channel at Johnson's Personnel, we actually provide job opportunities for finance professionals. So, we talk about money and systems of and jobs accordingly. We share government contract opportunities for 1099 contractors and small business owners. So if you're looking to get into government contracts, we discuss it through and through the process of how to win. And we also discuss building professional relationships to 10x your income. It's all about communication. It's all about relationships. How, when, and why can we come to an agreement to make it work? If you're a small business owner interested in having the US government as a customer, my company has over 25 years of experience winning government contracts. We will have a free Zoom meeting tonight at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. In the description is a link to our Zoom meeting from our Facebook page. We'll be hosting this reoccurring meeting just a few more times this year. So we are December 10th. So we've got but 2 to 3 weeks, not even because we're not doing it on Christmas, to have our weekly meetings. So if you are interested, definitely check it out. And if you'd like to learn more about government contracts, the market, and possibly participate in joint ventures in 2025, click the link. All right. Now, so all businesses established before January 1st, 2024 will be required to complete a BOI report. Well, technically was required because now all that has changed. The BOI reporting and all the stuff you've seen online, if you've got any letter notification in the mail, anything like that, or you yourself are just well versed in what's going on in the small business space, the BOI report is the beneficial ownership information report. Okay, it's basically a report saying that you, as a business owner, your business entity, who is the beneficiary, the beneficial owner of that entity. So this is a relatively new regulatory filing process for businesses that are specifically an LLC or a corporation, LLC, corporation, or other registered entities filed with the Secretary of State. So luckily, that does not include sole proprietors. I'm all over the place today. It does not include sole proprietors. The process is pretty simple. You can just like you can go to the IRS to establish your EIN number. You would go to the reporting center, fincen.gov, right? FinCEN is Financial Crimes Enforcement Network, because that's what this is really all about. This BOI report is to clearly determine who's who, what's what when it comes to businesses moving money back and forth in transactions. Okay, so you would go to the Financial Crimes Enforcement Network, fincen.gov, to complete the BOI report. And you, as a primary business owner, establishing your FinCEN ID. Okay, so that's how you know you've completed the report. You get a FinCEN ID. Filing a beneficial ownership information report with FinCEN, it helps business owners comply with federal regulations designed to prevent money laundering, fraud, and other financial crimes. So that's, the purpose of it is for prevention of illegal activity. By providing transparency about ownership and control, businesses demonstrate accountability and reduce the risk of illegal activities in their operations. Additionally, compliance protects businesses from potential fines, penalties, fosters trust with financial institutions, and strengthens overall credibility with partners, investors, and clients. So, keywords for process understanding: compliance, crime prevention, control, trust, credibility. So, just like you're applying for a loan, you need documentation. You need proof who you say you are. You need proof that you have income, just like establishing a business bank account. You need your EIN number. You need to establish that you are an active business. Just like purchasing a large asset, you need to show that you have money in the bank for the down payment. You need to show that you have the income and or business operation to support the ongoing payments for that asset, if that is what is required. These lending institutions will ask for income statements, proof of assets, and especially 2 to 3 years of tax returns. These are documents of federal compliance. As a business, they want to know, are you making money? Are you tracking your purchases? Are you paying your taxes? Are you in compliance with US law? Overall, the BOI report is to prevent fraud and money laundering. So if you have nothing to hide, you should just file the report, right? So what initially the penalty was, if you did not file the report by January 1st, 2025, technically that's a holiday, so it would have needed to be done the Friday before New Year's Eve, which this year, not that it's important because it's changed, the last working day that's not a holiday would be Monday the 30th. If you did not file it by the 1st of January, 2025, penalties include $500 daily, up to $10,000, and up to 2 years imprisonment just for not filing. So does the penalty match the requirement? Like, that sounds kind of crazy. We as small business owners, just for not saying I'm the business owner, even though my name is already on the EIN, why would you be jailed for not filling out this paperwork? So we may not like paperwork, but we understand it. And compliance is important when building business relationships. Having some sort of administrative system for you documented on a yearly basis. Some states, for your business registration and certification yearly to maintain integrity for your business between you, the states, and your customers. If you pay late, okay, penalty here and there, a couple hundred at most, but not jail time. To me, these penalties are quite extreme, as if the government was flexing on small businesses to say, Hey, give me your lunch money or I'll pound you. That's what it sounds like. Sounds like that's what they're saying. Give me all your money. Or like a mobster that's like, oh, you have to give me monthly dues for us to protect you, and they're the only ones that are doing any violent crimes. It just doesn't seem like it's necessary from a business owner's perspective. And even from a regulatory perspective, if you want to know, that information should have been listed as the business was established. But again, this is to prevent fraudulent activities. So what's the real purpose of this regulatory program? Well, recently there has been a change, a major change to this program. A Texas federal court on December 3rd, 2024, issued a preliminary injunction halting nationwide enforcement of the Corporate Transparency Act, the CTA. The case, Texas Top Corp Shop Inc. versus Garland, challenged the constitutionality of the CTA, which mandates reporting companies to disclose beneficial ownership information, BOI, to FinCEN. The court deemed the CTA likely unconstitutional, citing concerns over congressional overreach and potential violations of constitutional rights. The judge described the act as quasi-Orwellian and argued that its enforcement would undermine federalism and set a troubling precedent for congressional authority. As a result, the court joined both the CTA and its associated regulations, including the BOI reporting deadline, impending further judicial review. And this is from the National Law Review. I'm sorry, I misspoke. As a result, the court enjoined both the CTA and its associated regulations. This decision is not final and could be appealed, potentially escalating to higher courts. For now, reporting companies are not required to comply with the CTA's provisions. However, businesses should monitor legal developments for updates. So again, keywords for understanding: control, authority. The Corporate Transparency Act, CTA, which mandates reporting companies to disclose beneficial ownership information to FinCEN, has been deemed unconstitutional for enforcement. The BOI at this current juncture is deemed a violation of constitutional rights and blocked on federal levels. So we had talked previously about what for a business owner, what it's going to look like under the Trump administration. And the Trump administration is all about deregulation. So that would be parallel to what's happening right now, that it is deemed unconstitutional, and for regulatory compliance, the Trump administration is looking for less regulatory compliance, looking for less paperwork, for less red tape. And so, is this good? Is this a regulation? Is this, being this injunction, is it good for regulation of policy? Like, are we, are we balanced? Is it good that we're not being monitored? Was this overall program, potentially a punishment for small business owners? We don't know. Or were they just looking to find out who was a real business, versus who was fraudulent? So again, it would affect LLCs, corporations, and other registered entities filed with the Secretary of State. But there are a significant amount of exemptions, including sole proprietorships, and then also money services, financial institutions. So being that this compliance was focused on cracking down on things like money laundering. The exemptions would include banks, credit unions, deposit holdings, money services, broker dealers and securities, venture capitalists, insurance companies, investment companies, accounting firms, which my company is an accounting firm, and large operating companies. Large operating companies are any company with more than 20 employees. And even if it's not a finance based company, financial service based company, it's important because when you have more than 20 employees, you are paying payroll taxes. So again, when it comes down to finance, they're following the money, and these are things you have to do on a yearly basis to keep your levels of certification. So it's interesting that this BOI report really only affects uh, a particular category of business owner. A business owner who's not in finance with less than 20 employees who's not a sole proprietor. And that's a lot of us, okay? That's a lot of us, but at the same time, we are the American dream. We are the businesses that employ around 80% of the United States. And to have such heavy penalties and or just monitoring in general, it just seems so off kilter that and so if you have less than 20 employees, there's a good chance your revenue is below 20-30 million. So if we're looking at large activities for money laundering, I mean, in my head, I think that you would look for the larger companies. Um, I ran into a candidate, an accountant, who recently lost his job. I'm sorry, because his company dissolved their accounting firm. And when he told me the processes from when he started seeing the writing on the wall to when they gave him his pink slip, it was quite clear that the money coming in and out in the accounting that he was doing on the books was clearly money laundering. And so this company dissolved itself. Either maybe they knew this reporting was coming up, or maybe it was temporary. I don't know. But at the end of the day, if you have multiple bank accounts and multiple departments where people don't talk to each other, but they have to, look at these books and produce more and more books, you really have to pay attention. You really have to be careful. You only need one set of books if you are in compliance. If you've got two set of books, it's because one story is not like the other. Or if you're working with a company that has two sets of books, because we're ethical entrepreneurs over here. So what does this all mean for you as a growing business? Number one, pay taxes. Okay. Keep in a consistency of, have a good tax person. If you don't have a good tax person, there are plenty of services out there. Because that was, your first step of yearly compliance. Also, know your rights as a tax-paying citizen. As a business entity that pays your taxes, you have the right to privacy. You can stay current on changes by watching podcasts like this one, with financial policy updates. So, especially with our new administration, with Trump coming in, there's definitely going to be a lot of changes. So, stay tuned for all of that. Also, have a solid administrative system. A lot of us don't like doing the paperwork or think we can keep it all up here. There's nothing wrong with keeping up here. The problem is my up here is not your up here, nor is it for the auditor who's going to come take a look at the books, nor is it for the IRS agent who needs receipts. You have to have what's here on paper. It tells a story so that you don't have to always have to back it up with an excuse every time. Every single week, every single month, depending on the productivity of your business, have numbers in place. What did you buy? What did you sell as far as your revenue that came in? If you have assets, depreciation, different things like that, because that's the money game. You got to know the money system to play the game. And if you don't have documentation, you ain't playing the game. And or you definitely cannot scale if you don't have documentation. Use Excel, simple, QuickBooks, PayPal charges a bit, but I liked using them when I first started. Get yourself an accountant or a personal assistant who understands back-end administrative office work. So thank you for watching. Comment, and if you have any questions, feel free to ask. Um, if you have done any government contracts recently, let us know. We want to congratulate you on your win. Keep going. I'm rooting for you. Thank you and have a good night.